In the late 60s, George Akeroff, who was an economics professor at UC Berkeley, wrote a 13-page paper that talked about certain economic theories. And it was interesting, this paper, he wrote it and he really detailed something about one party having more information than another party in an economic situation. So he took this paper, he wanted to get it published. It was rejected by 2 publishers, and then finally it was picked up and published by a third in 1970. And in 2001, he received a Nobel Prize for this particular paper, as well as it's been the most economic cited paper in the last 50 years. So interesting. Welcome to Momentum Live. I'm Brooke Scutt. So let's talk about this theory that he uncovered. It was something called information asymmetry. And what that means is that there was a flaw in basic economic theory, and that was that all theory was predicated on the fact that assuming all parties had the same information, that they were acting rationally, making rational decisions in their own best interest. But that in fact is flawed, because access to information, especially in the 70s, was different. It isn't what we had like we have now. So think about salespeople. What he did in this particular paper was he delved into an area that very few economists are willing to go, and that was the used car market. And ultimately in the 70s, you know, and with all types of sales, the salespeople were the protectors and the purveyors of information. Salespeople knew more about their product or their tool or whatever it was that they were selling than the average buyer. So of course, salespeople got a bad rap with that. Think about if you've either experienced it yourself or heard the folklore of the MLS books. You know, us as realtors, there was a time in not so distant past where there were physical paper books that included all of the listings, all the details and informations about houses that were for sale. And the only people that had access to those were realtors. So we were the people with more information than the public, correct? So the advent of the internet and the access to information. And it is not uncommon now that buyers may know more information than the sellers or the salespeople. So we've moved and we've transitioned from being the protectors of the information and the keepers of the information to the curators and the clarifiers of the information. So interestingly, in To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink, he goes into this entire theory, this entire story, and he explains the economic theory behind it. And then often in an interview with a VP of the second largest car retailer on the East Coast, she ultimately said that the 2 things that she looks for today in salespeople are persistence and empathy, because gone are the times where we are the ones that keep all the information. It's about, you know, persisting and moving through obstacles even when they get challenging. But then it's also about being empathetic and being willing to feel and share in the emotion that the people that you are working with. So when we think about selling then, and people came to us because we had the information, and then we think about selling now, is that people come to us to help guide them through this process, to help them clarify the facts, the information, so that they can make educated decisions. That's the pivotal difference between salespeople then and salespeople now. I hope you guys have a great Monday and a great week, and I'll see you guys next week.